You know what? I
just want to point out that you don't understand. Seeing, first of all, the hugs are always great. Like, our hugs are phenomenal. Like, people out there, you need to understand that, like, when you see either a Jason or a Taylor and Demetrius hug, there's a lot of love and care that goes into that hug. To see it in the intro,
chef's kiss, isn't it? I knew, dude. I knew you were gonna love that.
Intro. I love
Thank you.
Because, like, look at this wingspan. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a mean hug. Like,
I like quantifying the quality of a hug by how much the person can touch their own elbows.
I want to really
me.
grip you into my into my existence.
I am live on YouTube, aren't I? Oh my God. I was laughing to myself because I was like, what if I just like made that intro a half an hour long and see how many people would start complaining about it after about 7 minutes? They're like, oh my God, is this over yet? Because I would be that guy. Anyway, welcome. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, September 17th. Hump day. I am super stoked to have the Jekyll and Hyde of community here. We were having such a great conversation backstage, and I was like, why don't you both shut up? This is great. Let's save it for the audience, because this is just some takes that people are going to be like, what in the world? This is great.
Now, most people are going to be like, facts, and I wish more people at my company would hear me out.
100%. This is why we have this platform.
Exactly. This is why we have this platform, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about is platforms, period. Tools for community, because this is another polarizing topic, is where do you send the people? Where do the people go? Where do you get the most interaction? Josh Siri agrees. Big facts. Shout out to Josh, another great community builder. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Ladies first. Pauline, hit us.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see so many people in the chat already. I'm Pauline Navas. I work in the community. Love that. Love that. Hi. Nice to see you all.
Is it my turn?
That is. Without further ado,
and most of you don't even know me. You're like, who is this guy? Fantastic beard, mustache, kind of on his lips, but that's okay.
Demetrius Clerk, go for it.
Demetrius Clerk is literally the worst way that I've ever heard my name pronounced. But Demetrius Clark, dev ed at Netlify, community hype man. You've seen me, you definitely heard me. For me, I'm just hyped to be on a platform with Pauline. I've watched her since the inception of her career. I've seen her blossom, and she knows I've been in her DMs hyping her. Like it's like an interval of a 6 month to 8 month interval. I'll just literally slide and be like, "Yo, you're doing great. I love everything that you're doing."
It's actually true.
I believe it.
What people don't know is that like building community doesn't come from platforms and like all the shit that we're about to talk about now. It's like, do you give a shit about the people that are in your ecosystem? And like for me, everybody in our ecosystem, you know, it became about followers, and it became about like how big can I get and how well known can I get. For me, it was like, how do I interact with people that I like really and truthfully want to interact with, and let them know that when they see me, I will be known in a room. Like nobody will ever be like, who the hell is that 6'4" giant hurling over themselves to get to Jason Torres. And also like people know that I'm going to show up in your streams. I'm going to show up in your videos. I'm going to like your videos. I'm going to retweet your stuff. I'm going to support. Support is the biggest piece. So like when you are building community, no matter where we go with this conversation, as far as like platforms are, it really is about how you interact with these people that people are going to remember and give a shit about. So I'm Demetrius. Thank you for having me.
Wow, what an intro. Wow. I feel like Josh is really playing to the crowd here. This one's totally going to land pretty. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Oh God. Holler. No, but I mean, we were talking about this before backstage, as far as like, what is community to you guys? Like, give me your definitions of community. And Dom, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, and I think that's why the three of us are here, is because we align with a lot of the values of what we appreciate in a good community. So I want to hear it from you, though, straight from those beautiful mouths. What? Can we edit that? Do I have an editor that can? Anyway, Paul,
we're doing it live.
Oh, this is live. Shit.
I love it.
On Torque, shout out to Torque YouTube, by the way, for everybody tuning in over there. That's not awkward. Anyway, Pauline, what's community to you?
in a nutshell.
Oh, Dom left. He's
Oh,
like, this,
no.
so offensive.
can't do that.
Somehow I offended Dom. That's not good.
All good, all good. I can keep going. Oh, here he is. Everything good, Dom?
Yeah.
Hi. I love it.
Dom's back.
Away from the stage. Go ahead, please. I'm so sorry for
Yes.
interrupting.
So I can already see some really great comments here. So Angela said, community is the people who advocate for you when you are not in the room. This is actually the story of my life. And how I built my career in community. I've done so many of these streams already. I'm pretty sure I can share a link and you can listen to that if you're curious about how I got into community. But yeah, for me, community is about the people. It's not the platform. It's not your events. It's literally the people that you speak to one-on-one in a group setting. It's the relationships that you build. I actually have this like work philosophy that I like to talk about a lot, which is, it's more like a work value, but I also extend it to life, which is every interaction counts. And every interaction I have with anybody, whether it's like just liking their post or sending a DM every 7 months like Dom does, it's all of these things that add up. And that, for me, you start to build these communities like around you. I have so many different communities, not just from like a professional context, because this is what I do, just connecting with people. So yeah, I think that's without ranting, that is what community means to me.
Oh no,
Easy-
we're
easy
we're
to
here
do.
to rant. We're here to rant.
We have
what do you
50 minutes, so we have to be good. We have to be, and this is the hardest part when we talk about community, because especially when we start talking about platforms, we're going to be problematic.
Yes.
Yeah, so like before I even did it professionally, I was building like gaming communities, like tournament organizing, and trying every platform in between here and there. And you start to realize that, like, you know, we're going to advocate and talk shit about platforms today, which is, you know, fine. But like realistically, at the end of the day, like, if you can't build a community, it doesn't matter the platform is going to stop you from doing X, Y, and Z. But like the core of what you're doing is gathering people around an idea and giving them a place in which to connect. And so like the platform is as good as you can make it become, right? And so like for me, it's like community. I said it earlier, like it's how I engage with the individual. It's how they remember me. And every company I've ever worked at, and you know, it's been 8 or so years that I've done like community across like multiple different companies. You know, the hardest thing to get companies to understand is that like it goes through us first. And so like I will fight tooth and nail to the point of like losing my job over my community, because like you can't put me in front of people to gain their trust and then I pull the rug from them. That just won't happen. Like I would rather be on the job hunt and figuring out my next move than to betray the trust in which I try to envelop with the communities that I do build. And so I think it's really just like focused on trust and like how much you're willing to show up when it matters for those folks.
I totally agree with everything you both said. I'm super bullish on the authenticity aspect. I don't like that ick. Oh, speaking of ick, what's up? Good to see Taylor's here.
Speaking
of ick, what's what?
Taylor Ixon
JK.
that.
You know what's funny is I'm expecting him to creep backstage here any minute now to see if he can come up. That's the thing for me is authenticity, like genuine, like compassion and interest in the people.
For sure.
I think that organic like feeling is what brings people together. Like you said, it doesn't really matter what the product or the platform or whatever the tangible thing is. It's the people around it and supporting it, supporting each other's passion or interest in it. You mentioned as far as like business, and after this, I kind of want to get into again like our spicy takes on like Discord, but. When did you guys see a shift, since you both have a little bit more experience than I do in the industry? When did you start to see a shift in community focusing more on like the ROI of it?
I would say, I don't know if you have an exact year. So I've been.
It's like the year was 2021. It was February.
Yeah, so I've been professionally doing like community work since like in the dev tooling space since 2021, but I have been building communities like almost by accident online since I was first on the internet, if I'm being honest. That's a whole story. I'm sure like you don't want to hear that again. I feel like I've been yapping on this platform saying that same story again and again. But yeah, for me I would say like professionally it was definitely in the last like 2 years, I saw like a bunch of layoffs in the DevRel space, and the that kind of sparked a discussion of like, oh, what do these like DevRels and dev advocates and community folks actually focus on? Like, what's their return on investment? Like, they go to these events, they do these streams, and who cares? So that was like around 3 years ago. And then, yeah, we like as an industry, I saw so many layoffs. But it's really interesting now. I'm seeing like a surge of rehiring for this kind of role. So it's interesting. So I would say that's kind of when I started to see that shift in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think for me, I think COVID changed everything. COVID pushed every company who was afraid of understanding internal community into needing it. It's when I actually started doing a lot of my consulting. So I was working professionally doing like dev advocacy, a lot of DevX engineering. I tend to lean towards like wanting to build tools for the community more than just the typical kind of like community work that ends up being a community role, sole responsibility. I started doing a lot of consulting. I had done Apollo. They do their GraphQL Summit event. We moved that to online inside of a Discord. They did like a live stream. So that like you just started to see people start to look at Discord as the route. And I'm big into gaming. I'm a super nerd. And so like my life already existed on Discord. Like I already was there for all of the other things in which I did. And so I had a lot of knowledge about the core platform. And then you started seeing every company coming out of COVID, noticing that all of the people that stood in COVID and built all of these communities now had them set and situated. Now you have a lot of them trying to catch back up and move into that fray again. And so I think, yeah, like from COVID till now, you've started to see that kind of jump for online communities and like what that means. And I think that has a lot to do with, to your point, like we're seeing a lot of rehiring happening and like being around for 8 years. And because I started DevRel right before COVID hit. And so I was like, yeah, I'm remote. Get at me. Then everyone was remote. And I'm like, what the hell? Now I'm not special. But like,
you're always special to us.
That I'm special in ways that, exactly. And so the shift that happened when we all went remote and everybody went online and all of the conferences went online, all of the meetups went online, live streaming became much more like adaptable. And so like you see all of these tools around that space kind of start to grow in that as well. And then you see the companies who they already had dev advocacy, they over indexed on events and they thought that events were this ROI that really brought them like a lot of fun. And then like if you go back and talk to any of these companies, and I've had so many interviews with them, so I've had these conversations and I've been like, what was your ROI for the last event that you sponsored? And most of them don't have an answer for like exact ROI that they're seeing. They got some sign-ups, so they scanned some badges, but like what did it convert? And like, is anybody leaving a fan? Like, do you know that you really converted people to your brand? Most companies can't give you a direct answer as to like what that looks like from the event level. And I think events started to move to online community. Like what they wanted from events, they were like, we could do that with community. We could build a platform and then we could sell to them inside of the community. Well, then that's when you saw all of the dev advocates getting laid off because they're realizing they're like, dev advocacy isn't making money itself. And if you look at every other linear organization inside of a company, they all have the same structure. They have PMs, they have people that are like routing out like what is supposed to get done to the outcome that it's supposed to go to, product managers, project managers. Then you look at DevRel and like no structure like that. Everybody is their own PM. Everybody is their own outcomes agent. And then everyone's like, why aren't you guys converting? And it's like, because you haven't set us up for success like you have for the rest of these organizations, right? And so you saw kind of like shift of like, oh, we don't need DevRel. We've got engineers who will go to these events and we've got engineers who will write blog posts. And then they realized how much time it took and how much dedication it took and how much like they don't know these engineers at your company. They know the Demetriuses, the Jasons, the Paulines. And it's not that like they know us because we're just like these like internet niche weirdo celebrities. It's like they know us because we've been out in the trenches with them building shit. Being customer zero is the best community member that you can be. And that's the best ROI that I think that you give back to a company from community. And I think companies are starting to like reassess, like, okay, if we bring them back in, let's start to figure out how do they become a part of our PLG motion? How do they become like spreading your DevRel or your community across team is like the best thing that you can do at a company, because like we're the best context holders that you're going to find. We're able to talk to sales. We're able to talk to community. We can get you people trying in a beta or an alpha. Like there are so many pieces that we can kind of like, if we were like Charlie Day on the board with like the red dots and the lines, like we connect those better than I think any of the other positions can at the company.
So we are the Charlie Kelly of community or of company. That's the character.
I think both me and Pauline both look to you like.
That's what you were saying. Charlie Day is Charlie Kelly on the show.
Charlie
That's
Kelly.
who you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I actually like. I know I'm from Philly, and I'm supposed to like love that show. Like, I do not love that show.
It has its moments. I've definitely watched all of it. Anyway,
Yes.
you did mention Discord. Your origins in Discord are from way before you got into tech, because
100%.
would you say that Discord just for somebody that isn't super familiar with is like a gaming
Yes, we had
tool.
like TeamSpeak. We had like TeamSpeak first, which was like a really shitty voice platform, and it didn't have really good like communication tools. And then there was like Skype. Like I was on Skype forever. And then like Discord came out, which did a good job at like being Skype, being TeamSpeak, being like your instant messaging platform. And then like now they have like forums and stuff like that. But like when it first came out, it was just like a better place to gather to do the thing.
A better place to gather to do the thing. I think if we just look at that basic definition of any sort of a platform, like I'm wondering what your thoughts are of Discord from a tech community perspective, just flat out.
I'm gonna let Pauline go first because I want because I will have a different answer than I think you think I'll have. So I want to hear like your concerns, your gripes, your problems, and like I would love to hear what you think about like forum-based community, because that's like how you feel about Discord is how I feel about like a discourse or some type of forum-based community. So
we'll have a good discussion. Okay.
Exactly. You go first, and then I'll join in it.
I just want to say I started a lot of my tech communities on Discord. It was actually during the pandemic. So before I got my first like professional community role, I actually built my own community. Fun fact, I was a DevOps engineer once upon a time, and I created a community around having more women in DevOps because there wasn't a lot that I was like connecting with. So I built this Discord community, and like I think within 2 days we got 600 members.
Jesus.
And it was so I didn't realize there was like 600 women doing DevOps and infrastructure type work. And we had this incredible super active Discord server where people were talking, sharing like resources with each other, connecting with women across the world. We did like coffee chats, debugging problems, and we just like did like study groups and stuff, and we just connected. We all just connected with people around the world. And you know, it was the pandemic, we were all on the internet all the time. So we literally 12 hours. 12 hours like on Discord, literally chatting all day, streaming all day. It was so fun.
You have to use a platform for it to suck.
Honestly, for everything. And then after that, I got my first ever role in community at a dev tooling company. And when they didn't have a community, they had some people who
they never do.
They never did. They were like, hey,
that's why they need us.
Yeah, they were like, this is what we need you to do. We need you to build a community. Where would you begin? And so we set up a Discord server because that's what I knew. That's where, like, for me, where communities were like hanging out, and I needed the platform. We already had a bunch of people, so I kind of just pushed them over. And funny story, we also had a discourse forum. And I actually said, let's shut that down and move everyone to Discord. And we did that. Like literally, that's what we did. So we moved everyone to Discord. And then I built with the team there. So I built a community team of 3. And then this incredibly capable team. We built all sorts of different integrations on top of Discord, so everything was automated. Whenever someone had an issue, it would link back to a GitHub. We'd create automated threads. Everything, it was one of the best Discord communities I've ever built. It was 10 out of 10, incredible. But the issue started to arise when we had the same questions again and again. They kept coming up, and we kept being like, oh, there's another link here, let me just dig through all of these messages. And then also when as the community grew, we just didn't have enough people in my team. We were a group of 3 people to find the answers for them, and it's just the same question.
And this was before we had AI to do that for us.
Yes, it was not scalable at all. And so I started to see the issue right there and then. I was like, oh, okay, now it's all the knowledge that we have has just disappeared into this black hole. And on top of that, we wanted people internally, like engineers who were actually building the stuff, to contribute, but they didn't want to open Discord.
No. Nobody wants to be a part of it. Because that's an extra job for your engineers. Yes, it really
100%. And also,
because really, Discord becomes your community forum, because nobody ever wants to use your ticketing system.
Yes, exactly. And then it just becomes this awful there's too many notifications there. If you miss an hour, it's gone. You're done. You have to catch up with so many notifications, and it's just overwhelming. So it ended up just being my team just focusing on it, and engineers could never get involved.
And then you're looking at support, and you're like, are we doing the same job?
Exactly.
I wholeheartedly, the one thing that I like about Discord among other platforms is that the ability to use Discord as a data source is not heavily explored. I did the same thing when I was at Clerk recently. They didn't have a Discord, or the Discord wasn't really grown yet. And we went full in on it. I was like, listen, if we set it up right, people will come. People are going to come to this thing because people want help. This is they're going to flood to live help. That's what becomes the issue. The biggest issue with Discord is it's live help. Everybody looks at it that way. If you don't answer me within 5 minutes, it's you're a piece of shit. None of them know that we're actual human beings with lives. But the idea of using Discord as a data source is something that I've been, and so you've seen Answer Overflow. Obviously, you work with Reese. Yes. Absolutely Reese phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal human. He sees it. He understands it as well. Discord as a data source is insane work, because you can build very many, like you said, automations, and there's a lot of bot tooling that you can do that's really cool. What we did over at Clerk, which was really interesting, was we started to actually build a database of exactly what you're talking about, which is those answers that are important. And now that we have AI, it's so much easier, because we can just feed that data source, similar to if you were to go to most docs pages now, they have mostly Kappa AI, embedded in the docs to do a good search. But when you can embed that data with your questions and answers that you're marking, what we did is we set up a system where if you marked it as resolved and there was another tag that we would add to it, it would filter that answer, because we knew it was a good, solid answer, into the AI's system of knowledge. And so it could use those same answers. But you do have to do a lot of work to make it better. And my argument is that there is none of these other platforms that I can do as much of that work to make the problem better. And forums are as easy a place for information to die as a closed off Discord, because you don't know how long into the thread you have to read. And those threads get egregious when you're actually using Discourse as a full, because I've also used Discourse as a full-time support forum more so. And it's so hard to, finding data on any platform is difficult. I will say one hot take. I don't care if you don't use Discord. Please do not use Slack. Stop using Slack. Stop.
I want to know why.
Talk to us about that.
You can find so many videos of my lifetime in this industry yelling at people to stop using Slack. if you're ready to pay $5 a head for message history, be my guest. Your company is balling right now, because that is absolute insanity to me. I think that Slack has come a long way more recently for being more communal, but they're not built to be that. Slack is built to be enterprise level communication. That's the core value of that platform. Discord, everybody says it's for gamers. It is for gamers, but at its core, it's a community platform for gamers. So at its core, when it's built, and now it's like got flashy ads and like all of the bullshit that has now come to Discord is monetization.
Of course.
I would take that over $5 a head for my message history. Like, that's an insane door to slam in my face as a community owner. Like, what is wrong with you? But one of my best friends works at Slack, Kurt Kempel.
Oh yeah, shout out Kurt.
I love Kurt.
Like, one of my favorite people in this industry. Like, and I've had these same conversations with him, right? Like, of like, dude, like, if you could find a way to like make Slack for community where it's like a side product that doesn't have to like put ads into it, make it weird. And so like Discord funds itself through its gaming funding, where it pops up a little quest and it's like this game that you don't care about because you don't play video games. And you're like, why the hell am I on this platform? But the internals, like being able to actively use Discord as a way into which building tooling works, is so great. Because if I have a problem, now don't get me wrong, the API is terrible. Discord, if you are hearing me, if Discord engineers are watching this for any reason, like, do something, bro. You know it's bad. I understand rate limiting. Like, rate limiting I get. But like, it's really bad. It is just like, there is no other platform that you could argue has a better architecture to allow you to build the tooling in which your company needs. And I think that, to me, is why I will always advocate for Discord to be the first thing that people build for something like this. Now, when you run into your inevitable problem of becoming a support team when you're a dev education team or advocacy or community, yes, like, and one of the reasons that like we haven't spun up a Discord at Netlify yet is because I will not do it until we have buy-in from everyone. If everyone cannot buy into the understanding of how like big and like how focused you have to be to make a community thrive, then we should wait. Because when we do it before having that buy-in, exactly what happens to you, exactly what happened to me, you know, previously, is that you become the sole point of contact, and then everyone's like, why are you not doing other things? And it's like, well, you go and spend the next 10 hours of your life answering the same question 15 million times and getting yelled at for giving the right answer, but nobody wanted to hear that it was the right answer. Like, support is just hard. And I think like there's a Plane is a support system that we were using at Clark. Fantastic company, fantastic product. They built like their own integration tool into Discord for their support. So now you can feed support tickets into Plane from and it's like, these companies just need to understand that this is where these products live now, is within that center of being community and being support. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, any community I've ever ran, even when it's not connected to a product, becomes a support line. Like, even when I was running a meetup in Philly, Reactadelphia, you know, we spent most of our time debugging problems with people. Like, that's just where, like, and if you look at any of the Discords, like, you know, Jason Langsdorff, shout out to his Learn, Build, Teach, like Learn with Jason Discord. Like, that's what happens there. Like 90% of the time is that like people come in there and they're just like, hey, y'all, like, I'm running into this problem. And like, AI has fixed a lot of like, I think the low hanging fruit issues that people are having. But now we're getting like, the boot camp era has returned again. Like,
I'm seeing that too.
Right? Like AI, we call them vibe coders, we call them this, that, and the third. Like, they're just who I was 10 years ago when I didn't know anything about tech. They just have a way better platform in which to learn from now. Right? Like, and so like all of the marketing that you see in all these companies of like the vibe coder and like, you know, and you look at the Bolts, the Lovables, even the V0s, like these companies that thrive on having somebody new come to the platform and be able to output an idea, also have, I think, been a little bit slower to the uptake of like, these people are just developers in waiting. Like, if you, yes, right now they love that they're outputting something and they love the success of an output, but like scaling something or like building something for other people to use, like, still takes some technical know-how, because you have to understand why your routes are breaking. You have to understand what a route even is and like how rerouting works. And like, there are just pieces of web dev knowledge that like you have to know to ask the AI, so you have to know it ahead of time anyway. And people are talking about just-in-time learning. That's like a new thing for AI developers. Like, I only learn it when I have to. Well, you're not going to know that you have to learn it unless you have an understanding of like what that architecture looks like. And so like that same problem happened when boot camps were like at the growth of their era, where I was looked at like a joke. Like, I'm showing up to interviews with a boot camp certificate and they're like, okay, like, what do you know about this? And like, they're going to be running into that same problem soon. And so I think optimizing our communities and our knowledge bases to start teaching these people tech, like they don't have to become like us and like dig into the code and be super nerds, but like they should know how to look it over and like understand the flow of what is happening. And I think Discord is a better platform to initiate long-standing conversations like that than these other platforms, the Discourses, the Slacks, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I love what you just said there. Very thorough explanation, and I totally I totally support Discord, but I want to know, because you both brought this up too, is like at some point apparently community starts to bleed into support, or support bleeds into community. Like there's these essentially other departments or other people that need to sort of like congregate in those areas as well. Like, what is the most beneficial tool that blends that? Or are we just destined to have separate tools for separate functions?
I don't know. I don't even know where to begin here. So, so many thoughts. So at Vercel, so my team, I manage the Vercel community team, and we take care of the community.vercel.com platform. And that actually behind the scenes is Discourse, even though I think when you look at it from the first look, it's a lot of people are like, what is this? Like, how did you build this? But we just Vercelified it so much that it definitely doesn't look like a traditional like forum.
It really doesn't. I wouldn't have thought it was if you didn't tell me it was Discourse under the hood.
Yeah, so we shipped this because we wanted to make sure that all of our customers can use like a single source of truth, a knowledge hub, and they can get to their answers immediately. And it scales because our platform is SEO optimized, and also now we use like V0 reads from it as well. So we have that single source of truth. It's just all connected that way. And for us, we support on that platform every single customer, but we also mostly focus on those who don't get like paid support.
Right.
So like,
which is funny because a lot of your paid support folks end up like, if you have a Discord, they're like in your Discord and you're like, you have a Slack channel inside of our site. Why are you here? And they're like, well, I just see you guys answer, and so I figured, I might as well come in here.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, I would say, because then you like share the knowledge from like different customer groups, and it's always really
and they get to see like what does real usage of your platform look like, which I think is like sharing that publicly, like allowing people to see that paid action and like because I think a lot of people are afraid of moving from like that personal plan to like a pro plan, or like going from that like, am I building and scaling this thing, or is it just like a side project that I'm having fun with? Like seeing the problems that those people face is like huge.
Yes,
and exactly. That's why like you'll never hear me disagree with you about like being able to find it publicly is so important to
work in public.
Your knowledge base.
That's my motto forever. Yes, 100%. Exactly.
100%.
So the reason I also really love Discourse is the fact that we have a amazing integration with our sign in with Vercel setup. So all you need to do is sign in with your Vercel account, and we have so many users of Vercel.
Yeah.
And so they just need to log in with their Vercel account, and immediately we have some integrations that is linked back to their accounts.
Yeah.
So then if they do have questions related to their setup, their Vercel account, it's so easy for my team, our community engineers, to just jump in and be like, oh, I know the issue, let me help you here. And then because they can do that whole knowledge retrieval really quickly, everyone is happy. Everyone can help each other. And then that person feels like, oh, this community is super active. People like see my
Plus it's
issue,
people on the platform.
I want to help. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then our faces start becoming super
recognizable.
Familiar. Yes, and then everyone just like wants to be in this space. And we've seen this trend. We're growing every single month, way too fast, which is why we're hiring. So.
Well, yeah, I think it's funny. We built the same thing for Discord at Clerk. So when you join the Clerk Discord, even if you go and do it now, I'm pretty sure it's still going. I haven't been there in like a year now, but I'm pretty sure it's still going. Where when you sign into their Discord, you actually can't get past the original channels until you connect your Clerk and Discord accounts, so that when we do that automatic ticket creation that I was just talking about with Plane, it actually links back and forth your customer information in a very safe way. Similar to that, where like what we were getting to is we were realizing how many paid customers were coming in. And we were like, we want to show you the importance of being a paid customer, obviously. But like when you're starting to jump platforms, it becomes hard to give you the same level of attention that you should be receiving as a paid support customer. And so that was a huge, I think what we're realizing is that the same tooling gets built across these platforms, and it's the platforms that enable that type of tooling to be built that are going to succeed. That's why, to me, Slack is like a no-go for me. And honestly, I think connecting your discourse and Discord into a really good funnel is also a good place that you can start, because you can connect, again, to do the same thing that we were doing with Plane, you could probably do with Discourse. We ended up building our own publicly indexable kind of Answer Overflow style site that was dedicated, that we could then own and operate and build features on top of. The one thing that I really liked about doing that is that now that enables you to own the data source, which is the data of the information that your customers are doing when they question and answer, but also to be able to build really cool features on a bespoke system. And so we were able to wrap Clerk's internal product around this site and do so many cool things with it that like I haven't worked with Discourse in enough time to be able to tell you that like their API is open to be able to do the same thing. But it's, again, like you put in all the work to Vercellify a thing that already existed, because really it's like almost as a CMS at that point. It's like a data source that you get to pipe into a UI. Exactly. The same thing can be said for Discord. And I think that if you're going to run a Discord, my disclaimer, my warning will be that like you're going to build some stuff. Like you're going to have to build some stuff, and you're not going to know what you're going to need until your customers and your community starts like really rolling in. But I do think that as of right now, when I look at community and growth and gathering and events and live, what I really like about Discord that Discourse cannot do is that it enables those events. It enables those actions. It enables the gathering in a way that a forum can't do. A forum will hold on to information for longer, but it can't gather and connect you in a way that makes you feel like you're really with that person. And I think like the event, like when they added events, being able to not only use events internally and like run your own like stages and things like that, but to become like that sign in the middle of the road that allows you to like, hey, in a week, we're going to do this on this platform. And when I was running the Jamstack community back at Netlify, when I was here the first time, I stopped caring about Netlify entirely and became about ecosystem. I was like, what is everyone else doing? What are all the events that they're planning? And I started filling all of the Jamstack Discord with like every single ecosystem partner's event that I could find, and I would like search them out. And that felt so good to be able to start to say like, hey, you can connect here, you can be here, and we can run events here, but go and connect here because this company is great and this company is great. And I think that's where we lose that community feel of a discourse.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add to that with Discourse. That's actually the thing that I've been trying to build on top of what we have.
Right.
So we have these community sessions that now actually shout out to Cap in the dev community.
Another goat.
Incredible. I wish she was here.
Oh my God.
I was just chatting to her actually before jumping on here. But she's launched Open Source Stories, which is a series where she talks to folks from the open source program. It happens every Monday, so definitely tune in. But that happens on our platform. Yeah. And we actually have an integration where if you join the community, then click a button that says going to the event, it creates this chat functionality. And then again, it's basically the same as like Discord. It's live chat where you can engage with us in the comments. And this is a project I really wanted to ship as soon as possible in the community because I hated but also love the asynchronous kind of nature of like discourse. Like you said, like it just helps scale everything and like customers love it, but it's really missing that gathering. And so we have been experimenting with opening like chat functionality that you can't see unless you're signed into the Vercel community. And so people talk there. But you know what I noticed on that? most people just jump in to be like, can someone help me with this question?
Yeah.
And then we end up just being like, can you post it in the actual asynchronous part of the forum?
In
Because,
real time, yeah.
that would be able to like,
once you start
it's
giving
not
these
practical.
mofos any room to like know that they have another platform
Yes.
in which they can push you.
I
Listen,
have said straight up no, like that's
let
not
me
the
explain
place
to
for it.
people like
They're like,
I hope
hey, while
all
you're
of you-
here.
all of you listening need to understand when you're growing up, everyone tells you that jocks are the worst, that they're the scariest, that they're the worst people, and that you have to hate them. Let me tell you something. You nerds are the singular worst group of people to ever interact with. And I tell people marketing all the time, every company I've ever worked at. The reason our jobs are hard, the reason that we are dev advocates and community engineers and education like forward roles is because like no other product do people that you're selling to know so much about it. When I was working at Vans and selling you shoes, you didn't give a shit where I manufactured them. You never asked about that. You didn't know and be like, yeah, I know that these were built in. You didn't know that. When you serve nerds, they're like, I built this on a Sunday 70 years ago. I know that this product doesn't work this way. And you're like, dude, yes, it does. Like, here's the documentation. Like, I don't know what you want me to just know. Like, listen, all of you people watching, and I see a lot of you in the chat. Most of you in the chat are actually really great nerds. So, like, I can't really say anything. But some of y'all out there need to provide some patience for us because you're here and you're sitting, you're watching, and you're like, wow, Jason, Pauline, Don, they're so cool. They're so nice. And then you get into the thread with me. And you're so mean. You're rude. Okay, stop being rude to your community people.
I'm waiting for somebody to drop something in the comments right now for support.
They care deeply. We care deeply about y'all for real.
Yeah.
Cancel me. I'm possibly one of the most cancelable people besides Ken Wheeler on Twitter. So like realistically, I've been aiming for it.
Shout out Ken Wheeler. Love that guy.
Absolute monster. Menace to society.
So with Discourse, you're finding problems and building solutions for it because this is what the community wanted. Again, it's like there's certain pieces of Discord that are great. Discourse doesn't have it, so let's make it. Okay.
And the same opposite. Like
exactly.
Discord forums are not as good as a discourse forum because it's not public and it gets hidden away in a swath of a not great searchable UI, to be completely honest.
It's horrible. The worst.
So what's the happy medium here? Because again, I feel
Whatever
like
you're willing to build
we've discussed like these two things.
No, honestly, one of the things I've been saying for years, I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna build my own community platform because I have a list of all these things I need.
I will join your platform because you couldn't pay me enough money to go and try and build a community platform. It's insane.
No, I have said this and I've actually looked into it in depth and I'm like, oh, that's way too much work. That's like a full-time job. I need to
literally
spin off another company, but that's
it's already a job. It's already a job in itself to build the tooling on top of the tools that suck.
Yes, exactly. That's actually like a lot of what my team is working on right now, in addition to like just being everywhere and every platform to make sure everyone is like taken care of, is like building on top of what we have. So we are cooking some stuff I can't share too much on top of our community platform to make it a bit more to have that feeling of this is where you hang out. But we're building on top of what we already have. Right
plus
now,
you guys are, it's interesting because you guys have Next.js community, which was like, like people are probably watching this like Netlify and Vercel are on the same tweet or on the same live stream. Like I've had so much respect for the people that work at Vercel. I was on the phone with Lee all the time back when he was first getting started in his journey into Vercel. I love it. I love like so much of the people there are some of my favorites. And like, what I think a lot of people don't understand is that you already practice community through Next.js Discord. And Next.js Discord is like tens of thousands of members. So it hit a max. And like it's funny because you almost didn't need a Vercel community for so long because the Next.js Discord acted as the pseudo Vercel community until you had something official that you could move them to. And so like you have a lot more, I think Vercel at its core has a lot more especially being built on top of something open source. So like you're in this weird position where you have to force the product, you have to show the product of Vercel, but you get to do it behind something that anybody can use for anything. And 100%. So like you get into this very odd kind of communal wave, and then you move to having a Vercel community, and now people in Next.js community can just like talk about Next.js, talk about tech, talk about frameworks. And when people have legitimate Vercel community questions, they can come to this other platform.
100%.
Now we lost Jason.
No. Oh, Jason said be right back. But yeah, no, totally agree there. And I think like to Jason's point of what that happy medium is, for us, it is discourse for now.
Yeah.
As I said, we host all of our like online events on our community.vercel.com
Right.
discourse platform,
Yeah,
and
because
we
you
have
is that
this
through
synchronous.
Mux, by the way? Or is that like a fully bespoke video platform? Like
It's
completely?
actually just StreamYard. So
Oh
exactly what we're
wow,
doing
that's
through
cool.
YouTube, connected all into one plugin, which
That's
then
really cool.
opens up a chat. But
Nice.
yeah, I think for us, it's just so easy to connect with our customers because
Right.
they're like, oh, I want to tune into this like session. Like last week, we had one with our CEO G, and
Yeah, I watched some of that. Yeah, yeah.
oh, did you like that?
Of course. No, I
Thank
think
you.
one of the things that like a lot of companies need to get better at is heightening the bar of quality for output on these types of content pieces. I think a lot of companies right now fail to understand how far advanced streaming and video creation has become over
Mhm.
the last like 3 years, let alone the last 10 years. And so one of the things that I've always respected about y'all over there is like, I mean, you guys have the Apple quality of production. Like it's like, you know, that linear understanding of like if it looks good, people feel good about
Yeah,
watching it and being a part of it. And I think
yeah,
that shows in
100%.
those live streams.
Yes, and as I said when I was setting this up, we could have just easily shared it on YouTube, on
Right.
Twitter, and or X, whatever. We could have just done that with these streams, but we decided no, we want it on our platform. And even though we've cross-posted it now on X, it's worked really well with our customers who use community.vercel.com.
Love that.
So it all kind of like works. And for to just answer your question, Jason, that's what our happy medium right now is in the community. But I'm pretty sure things will change.
And I want to cut in here real quick. One of the companies that I think has done a really good job at doing exactly what you're describing is Railway. I don't know if you've kept up with like Railway or anything about them. So Railway was one of the first to do that like connection of like your Discord account and your main like company account. That's who I stole the idea from for the Clerk Discord, and eventually, and folks can go and find it. The CEO put out like a blog post about like basically what you're saying, where I don't like any of these platforms because all of them have the same level of limitation. Like Discourse and Discord have different limitations, but in the same realm, right? Like the same,
Yes,
you're going to
totally.
have to build pieces of the other platform to make it well-rounded. Well, they ended up abandoning all of the platforms and doing exactly what you're saying, which was building an internal community tool that has all of the pieces that they liked about all of the platforms. But to get buy-in to do something like that takes time and really.
Yeah.
And so like he from the CEO level was like, we need to do this. And so everyone kind of moved on it quickly. But
Yeah.
I think that's the happy medium ends up becoming like, how much time are you willing to spend to build the bespoke solutions you need?
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's really it too. It's like where is that balance? Because you can spend a lot of time, you can invest a lot of time building tools, or you can make the compromise and maybe figure out what tools would work. But then do we have multiple different contact points where certain information's living here, certain parts of the community are living here? And then how do you bring that all together?
Well, our for us at Vercel, the end goal is to have as many of our community platforms on Vercel, on the Vercel community, community.vercel.com. That's like our goal right now. Obviously, we also have the aspect of we want to meet where the community is hanging out. So a lot of our community also live on Reddit. So we're
That's
pretty
been a
active on
lot
there.
of what we're focused on at Netlify is like, you know, and I brought up how like we don't have we have a discourse and we have our support that's handled by our support team right now. And what we've been focused on recently is like, first of all, one of the big things is that like I think people should choose Discord because like most of your customer base is going to be on there because 90% of these other companies also have it. So like going where they already exist is a really good piece of like how to keep these people, you know, coming back. But also like, where are they hanging out? What are the things that they're doing? Where like events are back in play, right? And like events are community. Like I think people don't understand that, but like events are community. Like I've been fighting every company that I've worked at to do not do booths. Like you can do booths, that's fine. Booths are fine. Like, you know, I the only reason I like booths is because the organizers need the money to keep running the solution, right? Like that's the only reason I will ever advocate for a booth at a conference. But conferences have changed like insanely over the last even just like 3 years. And so like to me, it's like send me Send me, let me go and like be with people. Like Jason, like how much more do you get? And Torque does this really well because, you know, Taylor just understand, like, this is where me and Taylor really get together and align, is that like people are going to give a shit about me way before they care about Netlify. Like they're going to care about Netlify. They're going to care about Vercel. They're going to care about Torque. But like, there's other platforms that do what we do in ways, and like the competition is fierce. And so like, realistically, like it's the people. And like, Pauline, you know this, you look around and you're like, surrounded by studs. I feel the same way. That I went back to Netlify because I have so much deep respect for the people that I work with. I don't care about the product. I'm happy to return to, like, especially after all of the stunts that I've done at other places. But for me, it's like, I want to work with good people, and I want to introduce you to these people. Like, I want to let me bring an engineer from my team out to these events and intro them into the community, because that's where they're going to get like drawn into your product and what you're doing and what you're working on, because those people are doing all the hard work of the product building itself. And so I think like sending people out to these events, getting them involved, getting them interested, it does the same thing that you're trying to do with community.vercel.com, right? It allows them a place to gather. Great. It allows them a place to get answers, which is like 90% of the problem. But it also wants to give them a fall off of like, what do I do when I'm bored and I'm working from home remotely? Where do I hang out? Like, what do I want to do? And like, I'm going to tell you right now, I love community. I'm going to advocate for community at companies all the time. Nobody wants to wake up and go hang in your company community. Like, that's just like not like a thing that like they're going to want to hang with their friends in these like other like pseudo non-company related communities. They're going to show up to your company community when they want help with your product most of the time. Or they're like trying to like get inspired by your product and one of your ideas to help them get there. So I actually don't think the middle ground is anything more than like, what are you willing to build? What are you willing to build? True. How much time does your company allot you? And understand that my hardest time at the job as a community engineer, as somebody who works in community, is 9 times out of 10 having to go up the ladder and be like, this is important. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I have like the rolling. It's like
you would have that,
but like it's hard. And like, don't be wrong. I think that companies understand the ideology of community, but like, I'm sure even at Vercel, there's times where you're like, listen, this is important. Like, I promise, if you let me do this thing, it's going to move in a direction that it may take. The hardest part is that it's not like that. Community isn't that.
It's a long-term game.
It's 6 months. In 6 months, I'm going to come back to you like, look, like in 3 months, you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying. Like, damn.
So spot on. Yeah, 100%.
Jesus.
I think knowing that community is a long-term action or activity, that kind of challenges what businesses are kind of set out to do sometimes. So how do you pivot that? How do you sell them on that long-term goal? Knowing fully well, a lot of businesses don't like to have that sort of a time to investment. Time.
You need to really have people in leadership who understand the whole point of community. And actually, that's one of the reasons I would say in my last gig, I got let go and my whole team was like taken apart because they just didn't get it after a while. And to be fair, we pivoted the products multiple times, so it just didn't make any sense anymore. And I felt like the last couple of months at that role, I was constantly trying to prove why
I should even exist here in the first place.
Exactly. But like, as soon as I joined Vercel, it was the easiest process ever, because it was literally, I did not have to explain. People were like, yeah, we get it. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. This is why we're hiring. Yeah, cool. And I think having that buy-in immediately just makes your life easier. And
the best managers are the ones that aren't afraid to lose their job. That's what I've always said. Like
the ones that
are willing to protect and defend your ideas and tell you when they suck. Like, when I was, because I ran at Clerk, I not only ran the DevRel team, but I also ran the support team for a little while. And one of the things that I wanted to do was like show them like, I will do your job with you. I am not afraid to spend 16 hours in a day with you in the support forums because we're 300 tickets behind. Like those people are, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to, I wasn't a part of this meeting or that meeting, but like the people that are willing to show up and help you thrive are the best managers. And when you find a place that finally understands it and you have that manager who's already put the work in above you into SLT, it's like, it's so hard to find. It's a unicorn thing to find.
I have to say, like, shout out to my manager, Matthew Sweeney, and everyone who interviewed me last year at Vercel, because they honestly just got it. And I didn't have to explain. And when I said, I want to run this experiment, they're like, run with it.
Yeah.
Go for it. And then I said, this is what I expect. This is my hypothesis of what this will create. Like later down the line, they're like, go with it, run with it. And honestly, I feel like I had such a successful year.
You have it up to G though, which is really good. Like, I feel like G understands that like it's gonna suck sometimes until it's good.
Yes, exactly. But because I had this like backing, it just made life so much easier. And I had such a successful year at Vercel because people just understood and they were like, yeah, I understand this is a long-term game.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely is a long-term game, and I think that that's an important distinction a lot of people don't realize because, especially now, especially in the culture we're in, it's immediate gratification. It's instant results. Everything is now or it's already late.
Especially in the startup land that we're in, which is like this really aggressive, really well-funded area where money goes in and out so fast that the expectation of a board... It isn't until you sit in a board meeting that you understand why your senior leadership can suck sometimes, because board meetings are rough. Like the answers that you have to have are very individual, very stringent, very like direct. And so I think you find yourself like scrambling to make sure that your teams can deliver that back up to you when you go to those meetings. And then your teams are out there on the ground, like, give me a month, give me 2 months, give me 3 months. Like we'll get there.
I'll leave that for the higher ups. I don't have any interest in those conversations.
Weird.
So we're hitting the hour here. This has been pretty sick, and I want to make sure I give you guys enough time just to get some kind of closing thoughts in here. But tell me what your dream community tool looks like. That sounded weird, but I think you know.
Pauline, should we just like become co-founders and go and build one? What's going on?
I'm gonna try it. After this, I will retweet myself, but I have literally the tweet that described everything I want personally.
All I'm saying is that the founder story of leaving two competing companies to then build the best community. I'm just saying it's there. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying it exists in reality.
I like where this is going.
About it a lot. Honestly, like over the last couple of years, I've been looking at all of the community tools, and I've had very strong opinions of what the best one would look like.
So let's hear it.
Again, like, I have
you
to
don't have to tell us your full product because I don't want to steal.
Okay, because it's a full. I tweeted it out. I said someone built this because I don't have the time. Someone built this right now. But again, I think like ultimately, it's I want it to be asynchronous and synchronous at the same time, where people feel like they're in a room, where they feel like they're in a room as if they're in a meetup. Yeah. And that's the first layer of it. But I want it to be so easy that people then, you can have like integrations with tools like, Guilds.host by
Guild was like the first attempt.
Shout out to Taz.
Something way different than what people were doing. Yeah.
Exactly. So integrations with Guild, so then people know that there's also in-person stuff.
We tried to do that at Cloudinary for a while, where we were using Guild for our events, and it's hard to get people onto something like that. Yeah. But like once you're in it, it feels so good.
It's like it makes sense as well from like a community person perspective. It's like, oh wait, this solution makes sense. But something like that, like I have a list. I'll tweet it out after this.
Do it. Tag us.
And it really also depends on like where you're trying to position the product. If you're trying to position it for company-based community, then you're in a whole different ballpark. Like you cannot make a community platform that fulfills company wishes. Like you have to, that's why all of these platforms suck, because their ideal persona swaps into what you should want for that platform. Like, again, we go back to the Discord, that's for gamers, right? Slack is for enterprise work. Discourse is basically just a kind of open forum that you can use in any which way. And like you said, has given you some of that community tooling. But I think like realistically, it's like, what is the persona in which you are serving, and how do you find a way in which to serve them best? And then that's where you get into like, Jason, your original question of like, what do you build? Like it almost is not something that you can cookie cutter. You almost have to build a really block build type of platform where your API is goated. Like if you built a community platform where like your API team is just filled with a bunch of absolute monsters, like then you're going to find yourself, because when you're serving companies, we'll fund a month of work to go and build the platform or how we want it. So I think it really comes down to the building blocks. The platform itself can be whatever, as long as it has that choice of the asynchronous, synchronous feel. I think as long as you can build like it's like almost if you made like Builder.io into like a community platform where you could like drag and drop in widgets and like build your own platform based on these features, I think you'd have a winner right there.
That would be 100%.
Sick. Yeah, the building blocks. Good API. Use V0. Then
great
V0.
API, not good.
Right.
This thing has to be fantastic and if you could make it self-hostable, companies would eat up that.
Yeah, that's game over right there.
Tell me something here right now. We like.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna end the stream. Let's keep this talk. Let's keep this chatter going.
You don't have to quit your job to start a side project. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, I love that. Also, Taz is watching. People should feel like they're in the same room at a meetup. He said working on it.
Oh,
so
Taz is the goat.
Yeah. Guild.host is awesome. We use it for everything. But anyway, guys, this was awesome. Really fun conversation. Anybody that doesn't follow these two, you're dumb. You're dumb. You should have already been following them. But here they are. Please go check them out and check out Vercel and Netlify. Guys, I want to give you closing thoughts here before we head out. Bop. Pauline, hit us.
Can I just talk about anything?
You can talk about whatever you want. Closing thoughts or you have the floor.
Okay, amazing. Well, if you want to hang out in the Vercel community, head over to community.vercel.com. We do live events every single week. Last week we did one with our CEO G, and he will definitely be back. So keep an eye out on that. And yeah, that's where I'm hanging out, like literally all day, every day. So if you want to know more about anything in the Vercel ecosystem, that's where we're hanging out.
Boom. Dom, hit us.
So on October 1st, Netlify will be running a really impressive event. It will be online. And so join us. Go to netlify.com/deploy. You will find a really cool landing page in which you will be amazed at the vagueness in which we will deliver a really cool product on October 1st. I think one of the coolest things that I want to leave everybody with is the platform doesn't matter. Do not care about the platform. Get good at understanding the people you want to serve. Understand the persona, work with them, be customer zero, especially if you're at a company. Like, be the first one trying your new product when it's in beta. Be the first one creating a friction log to start to give that feedback. Because when you go and deal with people in the wild, they're going to hit you with a lot of these same things. And when you understand the product and when you understand the persona, that's when community starts to form. And so, realistically, find Pauline, find me, DM us. Like, one of the things that I will say is that, like, I surround myself with people that I know are willing to go out of their way to help you. If you're going to build a community, if you're looking to build something, find us. We're happy to answer any of those questions. And then Jason, you're going to find him at every single live event that exists in America and outside of it. And so go up to him, give him a hug. He gives pretty good hugs, not better than mine, but they're pretty good. And listen, don't not build community because it's scary. Okay. Like, find your niche. It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of people. It could be 10 people that show up every month to meet and talk about their lives and what they've been up to. Build something, go for it. Don't be afraid, and surround yourself with people that push you to do that. That's what my closing thoughts are.
I love that. Community is not a number. It is a value.
All about the people.
That's right. And to quote Ariel, I want to go where the people are, because that's what makes community.
Why didn't you sing that?
Incredible. I wanted you to sing that.
I'm pissed that you didn't sing it.
Maybe I will at Cascadia in 2 days. Maybe that'll be my karaoke song. Just saying. Little teaser there. Little teaser. Anyway, Dom is right. I will be all over for the next 2 months, so make sure you come and find me in person. Outside of that, you do know things. This was awesome. I hope everybody got something out of this. I did. This was fantastic. Thank you to Dom. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to everybody that was watching. And
I love y'all.
Love y'all. Peace. Let's get out of here. You guys hang out for a sec.
Nah, I'm leaving.
Okay, bye. Taylor got